the Spotlight is an infrared microscope. So you use the system to, first of all, gain an optical image of the sample, and then we can focus in on particular areas and have an IR spectrum from that particular area.
Welcome to the Pittcon podcast, where we hear from world-leading scientists about their journeys from passionate young academics to professors to Pittcon presenters. Today we speak to Dr. Dominic Gostick, Chief Technology Officer at PerkinElmer, about the launch of two new innovations, the QSight 500 LCMS and the Spotlight Aurora Infrared Microscope. Dominic shares how his background in mass spectrometry and decades of R&D experience shaped these technologies, designed to make high-performance analysis more robust, efficient, and accessible. From simplifying complex sample prep to advancing microplastics research, these instruments reflect PerkinElmer's focus on solving real-world challenges in science. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how PerkinElmer is redefining laboratory performance, accessibility, and sustainability through smart, customer-driven innovation. Dominic, thank you for joining us today on the Pittcon podcast. You're CTO of PerkinElmer. So let's start by, who are PerkinElmer? What's your mission? I know you've recently gone through some changes. Can you talk us through those?
Yeah, absolutely. So, PerkinElmer, of course, is a very well-established brand. We've been around for 85 years. But recently, about 2 years ago now, we were carved out of what was then PerkinElmer, and we became the new PerkinElmer. So we've been going through quite a transformation over the last 2 years.
So Dominic, can you tell me a little bit about your scientific background and how you got to be the CTO of PerkinElmer?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can probably tell from my accent that I'm not didn't grow up in America or the US. I grew up in the UK. That's where I was educated. Specifically, I grew up in England, a little town called Rugby.
And we were talking about how we both did our undergrad at Cardiff.
Yeah, and then I went to Cardiff University where I studied, and then went to Sheffield University where I did my PhD. I started my working career in the UK in a mass spectrometry company. It was called Micromass at the time, and I spent some time there before I moved to the States and worked at a different mass spec company. And I spent many years there. They had a whole bunch of different names during the time that I was there. And I joined PerkinElmer just about 18 months ago. And so I came in just after the carve out. And it's been a really interesting journey for me because, as you know, a lot of the products at PerkinElmer are very far away from mass spec. You know, we have a lot of thermal products, we have spectrometry products, atomic spectroscopy products, as well as chromatography products like GC and LC. So quite a broad spectrum of products from the R&D side, but certainly an interesting place to come and work, and I enjoy leading the team here.
Yeah, and we're here at Pittcon today. Can you tell us what you're doing at Pittcon?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really here for two reasons. The first and foremost is to launch some new products, which is super exciting. But of course, Pittcon is a great opportunity to meet with our customers and really use it as an opportunity for networking and finding out what's new and current in the market.
And you mentioned those new products. Can you tell me more about, I think, is it two new products that you've got?
Yeah, well, we're actually launching one product, and we're doing more of a preview of another product. So the products that we're launching today, we've got the QSight 500. This is a new LCMS instrument that we are introducing. It's part of our QSight range of products. This is the highest performing of our products, but really the biggest differentiator about this product is that it's a extremely robust, reliable front end, which means that you can really start to eliminate some of the tedious long-term sample preparation that people have to use before LC-MS. I mean, my background, I've been in LC-MS now for a couple of decades. And so I'm very familiar with how many customers prepare their samples from anything from liquid extractions to solid phase extraction, all of which can be fairly lengthy, tedious processes that ultimately have a lot of cost associated with them in terms of sample prep, reagents and consumables, but also add a lot of time. So our customers basically told us, can we eliminate sample prep, go directly into a mass spec? And guys in our R&D facility in Woodbridge, Ontario in Canada, have really developed a front end which is extremely robust and insensitive to those kind of contaminations that typically wouldn't be something that you would happily spray into the front of a high performance triple quad instrument. So that's pretty exciting. I think it's going to really have a significant impact on the way people think about these types of instruments, particularly in the world of environmental contaminants, where you're working with samples that are typically very dirty or high levels of backgrounds that you wouldn't normally want to put into an instrument because it would really deteriorate the performance of that instrument. And by having this front end, we call it the front end, it's the interface between the liquid world and the vacuum world, we're able to handle those samples. So one of our collaborators in the development of this product was literally showing us how they wanted to just blend up a sample. So one of the areas that we see our customers using the instrumentation for is food safety testing. So they're looking for things like pesticide residues or high hormone additives in food or antibiotics. And literally taking a food item, tomato, a pickle, something, putting it in a blender, blending it up, and then injecting it directly into the instrument and seeing those contaminants that they're interested in, those important levels that they need to see at an importantly low level to ensure that healthy food's safe.
And you mentioned food analysis there, but are there any other sectors where this instrument could be used?
Yeah, I mean, it can be used pretty broadly, but we're sort of focused on areas where we think people have what we call dirty samples, complex samples, and so that sort of falls into environmental. Obviously, tap water not so much, but sewage, effluents treatment, obviously in contaminated ground, and also in maybe some clinical research applications where people might have samples like body fluids, blood, that kind of thing, which all are potentially samples that we can look for small molecule quantification of material in those samples.
So you mentioned a product that you'll be previewing. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we're showcasing our new Spotlight here. It's an instrument that we're previewing so that we can start to prime the customer and the market with this product. And this product will be really focused in the area of microplastics. The Spotlight is an infrared microscope. So you use the system to, first of all, gain a optical image of the sample, and then we can focus in on particular areas and have an IR spectrum from that particular area. So, for example, in the world of microplastics, you might be looking at the accumulation. So you have maybe a tissue slice or some sample where the microplastics become very accumulated, and then you can use the IR to actually look at which microplastics these are, what typical plastics, and we can get some sense of the identity of the plastic that has accumulated in a particular part of the body, for example, would be one application. Although IR microscopy can be used across very broad range of applications, from pharmaceutical research and pharmaceutical characterization, all the way into things of much more industrial, like laminars in wood and material laminars and that kind of thing. So it's quite a broad-based, but we think with this system it's really focused around usability, making it simple to operate for our customers, as well as having coupling with IR microscopy is certainly an area that we think is important to a lot of our customers.
Yeah, I can imagine in food contamination this is relevant as well, the bioaccumulation of microplastics.
Yeah, I mean, it's often more in the sort of environmental research area. I know people who are looking at oceanic populations of fish or mammals where they've started to accumulate those plastics. But of course, ultimately the reason people are interested in the area of science is because it has direct impact on the human food chain.
Yeah, and have there been any technological advancements that PerkinElmer have been involved with that have allowed these two products to come to fruition?
Yeah, well, as I said, I mean, one of the key areas of focus for the LC-MS or the triple quad was around the source interface. How could we develop high sensitivity, precision and quantitation whilst maintaining a very long span of operation without having to impact the customer with downtime and sample preparation, etc. So that's really been a key area of focus for us. And on the IR microscope area, we've been very heavily focused around usability, making it easy to operate. IR microscopy is typically something which we're broadening the accessibility of that technology by making something which is much simpler to use, so that people who are not necessarily specialists in that area can ultimately be using the highest performance instrumentation.
Yeah, and are there any industry or technological trends that you're interested in at the moment as a company?
I mean, we see from a macro perspective that we have a lot of interest in the area of biopharmaceutical. So we continue to be focused in that area. We have within the platform, within the PerkinElmer platform, we have our Covaris products, which are a next-gen sequencing sample preparation company, and that's very clearly focused on that biopharma area, and as well as our OneSource business, which is focused on providing our customers with services and asset management, which really is targeted and focused on how do we give our customers the ability to extend the hours that they can spend working in their research areas. And PerkinElmer, through our OneSource business, can really take some of the reasons that they don't have to spend in their research hours. So we're giving hours back to their customers through that technology.
Yeah, and a trending topic across all industries is AI and automation. How are PerkinElmer using AI or automation, or how do you want to use it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, clearly AI is very heavily is a big, heavy topic in the world today. I think one of the things that so we certainly recognize that and have invested through our R&D teams around how we can deploy AI to our customers. One of the things that we have really focused on is how do we make AI in a way that is usable for our customers, where we're ensuring that the results that they are obtaining from AI are accurate and precise and aren't prone to any kind of hallucination or things like that. So we've been focused on solving some of them. Some of the more basic challenges that maybe our customers have around operation, how to operate the instrument, how to optimize the instrumentation, how to develop methods, and we certainly see that we will over the next months and quarters, be in a position to really start to deploy AI tools for those that solve real world customer problems. Of course, there's a myriad of tools out there, and I think it's a case of really understanding which are the ones that best serve our customers as we start to really deploy some of these machine learning algorithms to some of those challenges.
Yeah, and you mentioned the R&D team there. What else is in the future for the R&D team at PerkinElmer?
Well, I mean, we have made, since the carve-out, had a real focus on renewing our product line. So, PerkinElmer has, as I say, a long tradition. We introduced, I think, back in the 50s, the original gas chromatography system. So, we've got a long legacy. But as I walked into the organization as Chief Technology Officer, I wanted to really look at how do we refresh and renew the technologies. And we've had multiple launches in the last 12 months, and we have exciting product introductions here, but we're going to have more. Over the course of the next 24 months, we're going to have a significant number of launches, really focused at solving customer problems, understanding what customers are looking for, looking at how we make PerkinElmer even more relevant to our customers, looking at the applications that they're working in, and really focused on areas of, and the areas that we focus on. When I think of a PerkinElmer customer, many of our customers are in a environment where time matters, cost matters. Yes, performance is important, and we'll always push to the high-end performance, but at the end of the day, high-end performance without robustness, reliability, uptime, scalability, sample-to-sample reproducibility, instrument-to-instrument reproducibility, all of these are areas that are critically important to our customers. They tell me every day, I talk to customers, and they tell me these are the things that they care about. So we're focusing our R&D teams on creating those performance, those characteristics by design. And of course, in amongst all of those laboratory efficiency also comes sustainability. If you can develop the instrumentation to be more efficient, then you're developing instrumentation to be more sustainable. And so, we're looking at how do we reduce the amount of argon that our plasma gas that our plasmas use. We're looking at how do we reduce the amount of power consumption that our instruments use. A great example was when we introduced the ICP-MS single quad last year. We introduced it with a green CT, which is a new cooling system, which is 95% cooling efficiency versus a classical chiller. So it's really an improvement in terms of lab efficiency, as well as reducing the footprint of the carbon footprint of our instruments.
Yeah, and here at Pittcon, I imagine you've spoken to quite a few customers already. How important is Pittcon for speaking to customers, making potential new customers?
Yeah, Pittcon, of course, is always, it's a historical show. Coming to Boston, I think this might be the first time that they've come to Boston. So that's brought a new crowd to this conference. So, we're excited to meet new people at PerkinElmer, as well as network with our customers and suppliers. And this is a great venue for that. We always enjoy coming to Pittcon. It's a big part of PerkinElmer's calendar that we come to this show. We often introduce new products at this show. And so it's definitely important to us to be able to use that network time. I think Pittcon, when I think about it as a conference, there's a lot of networking time available at Pittcon. Other shows maybe don't have as much opportunity for us to meet with our customers. So Pittcon's great, as it's a real opportunity for the vendors to meet with customers, and that availability of the customers is something which we really value, and we continue to use this to hopefully meet new friends.